Incoming message.
Welcome to this explainer. Today we're jumping right into a super bizarre live television incident that accidentally revealed some seriously hidden military-grade technology. Now, if you spent any time online recently, you've probably caught wind of this viral moment. It's kind of the ultimate contrast, right? You have this perfectly normal, honestly somewhat boring morning news show that gets suddenly interrupted by a flash of cutting-edge surveillance evasion. So today we're moving past all the wild internet speculation. We're going to look directly at the data and the source material, because what happened on live TV wasn't just a technical hiccup. It was a rare, microscopic glimpse into the very real world of digital camouflage. Let's get right into it.
3 frames. This entire mystery hinges on a span of exactly 3 frames. Here's the setup. On May 19, 2026, Robert Harward, a retired Navy SEAL and former national security advisor, is appearing as a guest on Fox News to discuss foreign policy. Exactly 3 seconds into the live interview, his face just distorts. And it wasn't a smooth blurring or a typical drop in resolution that you'd expect from a bad connection. No, it was this harsh digital fragmentation. And it lasted for exactly 3 frames.
To put that into perspective, 3 frames on standard broadcast television is roughly 0.1 seconds. It happened incredibly fast. Honestly, so fast that if you blinked, you literally missed it completely. But once that broadcast footage was captured and slowed down, it forced us to ask a massive, really fascinating question. What if we didn't just witness a glitch? What if that 0.1 second stutter was actually undeniable proof of something intentionally hidden, just briefly slipping into plain sight?
Section 1. The false leads.
Okay, so whenever something weird happens on live television, the explanations usually split into 2 extreme camps, right? The network's official excuse was really swift and completely mundane. Fox News quickly brushed the whole thing off as just a simple lighting artifact. Nothing to see here. Meanwhile, the internet absolutely exploded with theories claiming it was a CIA hologram, a real-time AI deepfake, or even a physical Mission Impossible-style mask. And look, it's totally easy to jump to those conclusions because we're also used to consumer-level technologies now, common Snapchat filters or basic deepfake apps that swap faces, but the source material points out that both of these explanations, the boring official excuse and the sensational internet theories, completely miss the mark.
Section 2. Military-grade digital camouflage.
Both the network and the conspiracy theorists completely miss the verified reality of facial obfuscation technology. This isn't just some theoretical concept, it's a real, actively deployed tool. Basically, facial obfuscation works by creating these nearly invisible micro-distortions in the actual geometry of a person's face. Think of it like wearing a digital funhouse mirror, but one that only computers can actually see. To the naked human eye, the person looks perfectly normal, but to an AI, the light reflects in ways that completely scrambles its reading. Now, we actually see similar basic distortion methods in civilian privacy tools today, things you might have heard of like the Fox algorithm, CV dazzle makeup, or those adversarial glasses designed to trick cameras. But the technology we're talking about here, it's on a whole different level.
And guys, this isn't science fiction. If we trace the evolution of this tech, it started as classified military trials designed to protect operatives in the field. And now, it is fully operational today. Major military contractors and tech giants, we're talking Palantir, SenseTime, and DARPA, have publicly confirmed that they developed these exact facial evasion systems. This is literal military-grade digital camouflage engineered specifically for the modern surveillance era.
Section 3. Video codecs versus micro-distortions.
So how does an invisible mask suddenly become visible to millions of people watching at home? Well, let's look at exactly how this technology failed so spectacularly on live TV. Here is the chain of events. The tech successfully creates these real-time invisible micro-distortions on the subject's face. Meanwhile, standard broadcast video codecs, things like H.264, VP9, or AV1, are desperately trying to compress that live feed so they can send it to your TV. But here's the catch. Compression algorithms work by finding predictable visual patterns. When they hit this algorithmic, constantly shifting facial mask, it's kind of like trying to tightly pack a suitcase that keeps changing its shape while you're zipping it. The encoder just panics. It mathematically cannot process the shifting geometry, so it forces out a visible compression glitch. And that glitch looks exactly like high-definition video buffering.
So that tiny 0.1 second stutter, that wasn't a mistake in Robert Harward's physical image. It was the undeniable signature of digital camouflage algorithms completely failing to compress properly. The invisible tech fought the television network's standard transmission software, and for a fraction of a second, the transmission software lost.
Section 4. The Video Engineer Verdict.
To settle the debate once and for all between a harmless glitch and active image manipulation, we really need to look at the data through the eyes of experts. 3 separate, totally independent video engineers actually stepped in to conduct a forensic analysis of the broadcast footage. And they didn't just watch the clip on repeat. They looked at the raw telemetry of the pixels during that specific 0.1 second window to see exactly how the broadcast encoder was behaving.
And the results are pretty mind-blowing. When you compare the data profile of a standard lighting defect against active image manipulation, the difference is night and day. A lighting defect shows completely expected environmental encoder behavior. But what the engineers found on Harward's face was an encoder conflict, a structural algorithmic distortion. This data profile completely and utterly rules out Fox News' official lighting explanation. It is an absolutely perfect match for active image manipulation fighting a broadcast encoder in real time.
The engineer's conclusion is stark and, honestly, undeniable. To quote them directly, Harward was wearing invisible digital camouflage, and for 0.1 seconds, we saw it. The mask slipped. This wasn't a broadcast error, it was a confirmed sighting of active countermeasures operating in the wild, hiding in plain sight on a routine news broadcast. And, this brings up some massive questions about the ethical responsibilities of news networks, right? If they are broadcasting digitally manipulated guest images, shouldn't they have to disclose when a guest is actively using digital face protection?
Which leaves us with a really chilling set of questions to take away from this explainer today. We know the tech is real. We know it was used on live TV. Now, sure, government officials might justify using this as a necessary protection against adversarial tracking and foreign surveillance. But if this kind of obfuscation becomes the standard for public figures, how does that reshape public transparency? What kind of legal challenges regarding facial privacy are coming our way in the next decade? And perhaps most importantly, if the powerful are actively hiding their digital geometry from the machines, what does that mean for the privacy of everyday citizens who just can't? Thanks so much for joining me to unpack this fascinating source material.
Come to me, chickens! Cock-a-doodle-doo!